Rescue operations have continued in earnest here at Shaft 11 in Stilfontein. We saw the first batch of volunteers make their way after signing their indemnity forms there, and we've been seeing quite a number or a handful of those stayed behind also make their way here to ensure that they are also, contributing to this effort to make sure that those who remain stranded underground are assisted and, somewhat brought to the surface. They've explained to us the complexity of the roping system that they utilize to actually start off with sending a message in the form of a letter down the shaft, to ask and request if there's anybody who has the strength to be brought up, and then that message then will be replied to by another letter which will alert those above surface that, okay, we are ready, we can allow for one of ours to resurface. Once that is done with, extreme effort, then that person would then be brought to the surface, evaluated by the medical personnel here as well as the police, be processed therefore, and then that entire process actually makes it very, very tedious and long for them to ensure that they remove these people in their numbers. But we've seen quite a number of stakeholders make their way to this area, talking about, the humanitarian situation here, as well as talking about the impacts of such mine abandonment and illegality on mining communities that reside in mining areas. We're going to be talking to one of these organizations, Makua, Communities United in Action. Tell us, as Mining Communities United in Action, what brings you here? You've been at the forefront of spearheading the reality of mining communities in South Africa and the fact that these mining communities are often at the back foot of development and find themselves as victims of criminality due to such eventualities.
Thank you. What is important is that South Africa is facing very much high unemployment rate. And secondly, we believe that these abandoned mines, which were done by the people who came in and mined, loot minerals and left this shaft behind, and people who without any skills but mining. So these people, when they're facing unemployment and poverty kicks in, obviously they'll go back and try and get something to put bread on the table and support their families. But we find it very strange that the government itself is not assisting into making sure that they legalize, transform this sector, a sector which can assist in reducing the number of unemployment and create jobs and even contribute to the economy of the company, but to the economy of the country. But unfortunately, we find it a government that is very ruthless, and not looking at how can we assist, because the people, if they come out here and there's no alternative jobs, well, where will they go? How can we not come and negotiate with these people and see how we transform this sector and make sure it's safe, it's legalized, and we can work with those people? But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So what brings us here mostly is the government, they decided to stop the food, and for the people who are down there. And what you are saying is that we should preserve life. We should be human. We should give those people life, because even criminals in jail, they get 3 meals. What is different with these people that are here? Because these people are down there trying to get to put bread on the table. And what is worse, it's not only these people that are so-called illegal mining. You will go to the commercial mines, the big mines. Those white elites are mining without licenses, but because that activity is undertaken by those elites, nothing happens, because those taxes that comes out there go to the very same parliamentarian shareholders and enjoy big houses, cars, and so on. That's why those people are not being touched. But the victims, the young black people who are trying to make a living, they're taken seriously. But how can not they hold accountable to those who left the shaft open and not do nothing about it?
And holding mining companies accountable also speaks to the fact that many of these illegal operations happen just in the backyard of legitimate mining operations. And many questions arise that how do they continue with such illicitness, and where do these people who receive or take minerals from underground sell them? Where's the market?
Exactly. You see, these guys are used by the very same government and these elites, because now they are getting these minerals very cheap from these people. That's why they want to keep them illegal, because even the law that we are trying to force amendment to it so that people can get licenses, it's not allowing them to be able to get permits. And when we are so-called illegal and selling these minerals, you will sell it at a very low price, because if you want to, you cannot go to the real market. And now they are making more money, because some of these minerals will go to the commercial mines, and now they get it and they sell it at a very expensive price. So those people are being used by the very same elites to get these mines, to get these minerals very, very cheap. And what we are pushing is that the MPRDA law must be amended to make sure these people can get permits and licenses and be able to sell these things in a right way and be able to live better life.
Over and above the complexities of our mining industry and the illegality in it, we also have to realize that many of the mines operate in rural areas. Many of these community members are solely also dependent on the natural environment for their livestock. The lack of rehabilitation of this site really cripples the rural economy of such areas.
You see, if you can do a bit of a research and ask people their life before mining and during the mining and post-mining, they'll tell you their life was better before mining, because they'll do everything. But when mining kicks in, you must know that there's land grabs, forceful removal from the mines, dust, contaminated water, polluted air, and nothing really grows. The farming is dead. And now there's that dependency syndrome that you need to depend to the mine. And not everyone will work in the mine. Some of other people will suffer and not getting work. What is worse is that the mine, before it closes down, it should have kind of a contingency plan that is skill the people. When the mine closes, they can't be marketable in other areas, but they just close without giving people skills. And what you are saying is government should start now looking back at those people who looted minerals without rehabilitating the land, because the land, if it was rehabilitated, we'll build houses, we'll do farming, we'll do a lot of things in that land, but the land, it's useless, it cannot be used. So when some other people who are creative, like Zamazamas, who think we still minerals, let's get in there, they become illegal. But white elites don't become illegal. That's not right.
Now, this is a bitter cycle, because we are seeing this. Stilfontein, a former gold mining hub, together with Orkney, the mining companies, they are slowly falling. It speaks to the lifespan of all other mines. Mining will not continue operating forever. What will then be the destiny and future of these mining communities?
Yeah, you see, and what happens if these so-called investors, we call them invaders, if they were very fair enough, they would have given skills to make sure, because what they want is, they want big lump sum of these minerals. But when it becomes deeper and very expensive to mine, then they just abandon it. So if we can have skills, and the government itself should play a role in making sure that we get those licenses, and we can still continue to avoid these towns to be ghost towns and do our mining ourselves and invest locally. Leave this thing of foreign investment, because it's just looting and taking minerals away, and nothing comes to the people and even gives. We have a lot of youth that are getting to drugs because they're idling. Nothing is happening. So-called investors, but what do they do for the people? So we believe that is local investment. It's very important so that people can be able to sustain themselves through these minerals that we have. This is our minerals. This is South Africa. They say South Africa is rich, but who benefits?
Absolutely. A very disappointing tale. Communities in Africa where they have major resource endowment, but these resources have in fact become a curse. They have come, people have extracted, the land has been left without rehabilitation, it has become a breeding ground for criminality, and it has destroyed local economies that severely depend on the natural environment. We continue to be posted here in Shaft 11 in Stilfontein as mining rescue operations here by the volunteers continue. We see many stakeholders continue coming here, as well as a heavy contingent of police remains posted here.